Well, it's beautiful outside in New Hampshire, and it is time to start using the Microgreens Palace again. So I'm gonna plant a bunch of stuff to get put in there and start filling those shelves up. It's kind of funny. Every year you'll hear me complain about the palace towards the end of the year, and I'm ready to go back to indoor growing. And then every spring, summer, I can't wait to get back in it. This year, though, I'm gonna probably make some improvements to it to try to help with the moisture issue. It seems like every time I need to harvest is when it's raining out that day, or it's rained out recently and everything's like super damp. You don't have that problem when you're growing indoors. But what I think I'm gonna do is underneath the eaves, there is like a foam you can get that kind of seals the eaves. I might stuff some of that in there, and I might also, the door I have over here. So this door, I always had just a screen on it, and I'm thinking maybe I'll put the polycarbonate on that as well. And then maybe also for the peak, show you, let's get the camera off of me. You don't need to be looking at me. And so up here I have the original fabric still, and maybe I'll build something that I'll use polycarbonate on it instead, and do something where I can vent it if I want to, and then close it if I want to, and then run a dehumidifier in here on those damp days. So we'll see how that works out. Sorry about the fan noise. I still got a little bit more cleaning up to do in here. Towards the end of the year last year, I ended up using it kind of as a shed, and it was full of all kinds of stuff. I've still got some stuff in here, but it's not too bad overall. I just gotta run the vacuum over these all these shelves, maybe spray a little bit of bleach on them just to make sure they're all sanitary. Got some trays that I need to clean up. I think I'm gonna use my pressure washer on them today. We'll see how that goes. I might lay down a 2x4 to keep them from sliding away from me, but we'll see how that goes. The other thing I kind of wanted to show today was I got this Roots Organics cocoa core. I got this from my local hydroponics store. It's called Ingrown Gardens in West Lebanon, New Hampshire. Check them out. But this is a solid block. Remember the stuff I had from the hardware store had like 4 individual slabs, and I really liked that. I've been told that that's not the best cocoa core out there, but I had good luck with it. It worked great. So I'm gonna throw this whole block in a wheelbarrow. We'll get some water on it and see how it does. This is gonna be kind of a crazy video. I'm gonna be talking about my Microgreens Palace, filling it up, which I already talked about that a bit. A different cocoa core that I've never used before. Maybe cleaning some trays. And I'm gonna show you my stacking procedure, how I grow several different kinds of microgreens and how I stack them and why I stack them the way that I do. So let's get some cocoa core soaking and go from there. So I got my block of cocoa core in my well patinaed wheelbarrow, and we're just gonna add some water. One thing I forgot to mention was the price of this cocoa core. As one of the reasons I was pretty happy to get it is that from my local hydroponics store, it was only like $12 a block. And that block is probably gonna almost overfill this wheelbarrow. We'll see, but that's my thought. I'll leave a link for you can get this on Amazon, but I think the price is gonna be significantly higher than 12 bucks. But I don't know exactly what that is yet. I'll look it up. Maybe I'll edit to put the price right here for you, but let's get some water on that. So I've got my pressure washer here. I'm just gonna use it with no tip in it. That way it's not like really spraying. I might wanna plug it in. This is my 3rd year or so with that Ryobi little pressure washer, and I love it. I couldn't be happier with it. Works great. Let's try to get some water in here and hopefully not make a mess. Oh yeah, that's not bad. So I'm not sure exactly how much water I'm going to put in this, but I'm going to put at least probably 5 gallons of water in here. And then we'll check back and see how it's doing. I've got a fair amount of water in there, and the block's already soaked up a bunch of it. We'll see how it does if it soaks all that up. You can see it's expanding pretty quick. It's much taller than it was, about twice the thickness already. We'll give that a rest and I'll move on to getting my trays cleaned. Now to sanitize my trays, I will be using a mix of bleach and water. I use about, I don't know, it's about 1 to 4 with 1 being bleach, 4 parts water. I'm not actually using this. This is just a bottle, but I thought that you may find it interesting that bleach has a tendency to ruin O-rings. So if you use it like a pump sprayer or whatever, it will eventually start leaking and destroy it. So I found though that this spray bottle happens to hold up to bleach because it's made to work with bleach. So I've refilled this probably, I don't know, 20, 30 times, maybe more than that. And it continues to still spray really well. So this is the bottle I'm gonna go with. Again, I'm not using the original contents. I refilled it with my own. So let's just give these all a mist. You can see I've got this 2x4 lined up. Hopefully it's gonna keep them from spraying away. We'll just spray all these and then we'll grab our pressure washer and see if my theory works that I can use a pressure washer. We'll see. I usually wash my trays in my utility sink indoors or with a hose, normally outside. Regular hose works fine. But seeing how I already have the pressure washer hooked up because I was completely detailing my truck the other day, this should work fine. And then I'll have to disconnect the pressure washer for when I actually water my trays. You'll see that pretty soon. So let me just finish this up and we'll see how it goes. I just remembered that I normally wash them the insides first and then do the back sides because there'll be less grass and stuff sticking to the very edge once you flip them over. But seeing how I already bleached them and everything, we're gonna go ahead and give this a shot. Like I said, I have no idea if this is gonna work, so we will watch. I won't edit this if it doesn't work. I'll leave it in. Look at that. That's a way to wash some trays right there, huh? They're blowing around a little bit, but not bad. I think I kind of like this. I think that worked excellent. So now I'm just gonna flip them over, do the same thing. Sorry about my shadow being in the way all the time because today my studio light is that bright thing up in the sky. I don't know if I'm actually even showing it. I can't see. But yeah, that's my studio light today. So let me flip those over and do the other side. All right, I got them all sprayed with bleach. Let's see if this still works this side. It's gonna be a little bit harder because they're gonna start filling up, the ones that don't have holes at least. So I would say overall, that is working really good. Yeah, I'm happy with how this is working. So I think the 2x4 is helping. I don't know if they'd blow across the yard without it, but hey, I'll use it. All right, I'm just gonna finish this up and then we'll check on our cocoa core. That method of cleaning is way faster than using my utility sink inside, and I think it might even do a better job. Here's our cocoa core. Sorry about my shadow. It's expanding pretty good. I think I'm gonna give that a flip. If I can flip it. Can't quite easily flip it, but we'll start breaking it up a little bit. Sorry about the camera. I've never been the best with holding a camera and doing stuff with the other hand. We'll give that some more water. You can see that this goes a long, long ways. So far, from what I'm seeing, this is about the same cocoa core as the that Beats Pete brand. So you'll get this same thing where every now and then you'll get this area of fibers, which I'd prefer if there wasn't any of that. It says right on the bag that it's there to help with keeping it dry and airy, but I just don't like that stuff. I'd rather that wasn't in there. Here's what we ended up with for cocoa core. So we got a full wheelbarrow. Seems like pretty good quality stuff. Now let's get planting. So when I stack my trays, I like to put my hardiest microgreens at the bottom, or the longest to germinate at the bottom. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with speckled pea. That's gonna be at the very bottom. I've got a bag here of speckled pea from True Leaf Market. Link in the description if you want to check them out. And I'm gonna start off with 2 scoops of cocoa core. Normally I would soak my pea seed for about 3 to 4 hours. Today we're not going to do that. We're just going to plant it. You don't have to soak it, but it does help. Helps it germinate a little bit faster, a little bit more even if you soak it. So to spread this around, if you've watched many of my videos, you've seen me do a lot of these planting methods many times. It's not going to be anything new as far as that goes, but I want to show you how I stack. I hear a lot of people talking about weights, things like that. It's just not necessary. You don't have to weight them down, because you have microgreen trays that don't need weight or can just be domed off, and those are what I would use as my top tray. So let's get that going. I have one of my 16-ounce microgreens containers here. It holds 2 ounces of microgreens. It's a 16 fluid ounce container. But it happens to work perfect for a measurement device for my pea seed, provided it doesn't fall over. So that'll be about the perfect amount. Just spread those around. They don't have to be absolutely perfectly even, but as close as you can get. Just kind of pat them down a little bit. Try to make sure not too many are stacked on top of each other. Now we'll take one more cereal bowl of cocoa core and spread that across the top. You don't have to cover your seeds with soil or cocoa core. I find pea seeds do so much better if I do cover them. It's a personal preference, do whatever works for you. Just kind of pack that all down. And because these pea seeds were not pre-soaked, I will be giving them a pretty heavy dose of water. You'll see that some of the pea seeds are sticking up through the cocoa core. That's fine. You just want to make sure you have a decent covering. Those are pretty wet. Next up, we'll do some Rambo radish. It's a purple radish. It sprouts a little bit slower than like the China rose and other radishes. And it also can really handle a decent amount of weight. So you don't have to worry about overweight in it or anything like that. So we will grab 3 bowls of our Frosted Flakes here. Just spread that all out nice and even. Now, because I'm using cocoa coir, when I first water these after I unstack them, I will be using a nutrient solution because there's not much nutrients in cocoa coir. Can you grow microgreens with no nutrients at all? You can, but will they be very good or very good quality or a robust yield? Not really. So it's always best if you can add a little bit of nutrients. I use a non-organic nutrient. There are organic solutions. I just don't mess with them, but feel free to try that if you want to. I'm gonna water that down now. And because I just barely made this cocoa coir or unpacked it, you don't need a ton of water. It's already pretty wet. For this, I'll be using my trusty tablespoon. I'll use 3 tablespoons of seed to a tray. Use my well-calibrated finger to evenly spread the seed. It's all in the fingertips. See that? See how I can really just kind of bend that a certain way? Just tap, 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 tap. That's what you gotta do. You gotta practice that. Sit on your couch at night with a tablespoon and no seed in it and just practice your tap. You gotta get your tap just right. It's gotta be right. So that's 2. 3. Try to get them even. They don't have to be absolutely perfect, but the more even they are, the better. Now that tray is going to go right on top of the peas. Basically pea soup under here, but the peas will soak up that water. Don't worry about it. All right, let's go for tray number 3. I need new trays. I've been using these, some of them, for like 3 or 4 years, and they're getting a little rough. The ones I got from Pepe are still perfect, but I'm not 100% sold on the shallow trays, but yeah, I need to get myself some new trays pretty soon. So let's take another 3 scoops. Now this time we're going to be planting China rose radish, and I am using the organic variety because I have recently discovered, I know some of you guys might think it's funny that that's a recent discovery of mine, that the organic produces a better microgreen. I always thought that that was kind of crap in a way, that conventional seeds would be just the same thing as the organic seeds. I've been finding that the organic China rose has like a deeper red stem. It's like a much better looking stem. I'm getting, I think, even maybe a little bit better germination. Overall, I just like it better. It is more expensive, but everything organic is more expensive, so I probably should have always known organic was better. I just didn't realize there'd actually be a difference in how it looks. So here we have a brand new bag, 1 pound bag from True Leaf Market. If you like my content, you can click the link in the description, purchase some True Leaf Market, and I'll make a commission. Helps keep me motivated to make more videos for you to show you how I do what I do. Tap, tap, tap. You know, like I told you, I can do it without even looking. Look right at the camera. Tap, tap, tap. That's how good I am. So we'll do 3 tablespoons. Look at how even that is. It's like near perfection. Beautiful. I always do 3 tablespoons. I think I could probably do 4 of the China Rose. Maybe someday I'll do an experiment on seed amounts versus yield and just find out for sure how that works out. You know what? I don't think I watered that tray after I put that cocoa core in there, but that's okay. Because I have, if I can find it, got this kind of mist function that should work all right. Oh yeah, that's good. Took me a while to find it because it's called flour. I thought it was called mist, but it's not. Get those nice and wet. Maybe give these a little mist too. Just make sure all the seeds are wet all over. Stack that right on top of the Rambo radish. I like being the camera girl.
My hand's gonna fall off.
All right, let's plant our next trays. Each of these will get 3 scoops of the Frosted Flake bowl. I want to thank my daughter for holding the camera today, even though she's already whining that her hands are going to fall off. But she's doing a great job. Spread this all out. Now we're going to go with some broccoli. This is the Waltham 29. It's a nice broccoli. You can get sort of little purple stems in it, but I find that most of the stems are white. Maybe they'll be different in the sunlight. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. Again, I forgot to water the soil with a cocoa core before spreading my seed. So we'll have to use our mist function once again. I've had people ask me, why do I do 1 tablespoon on some things or 2 on another or 1 on another one? It's usually about the seed size. You can see that the seed for broccoli is very small compared to the seed for radish. That's why there's 3 tablespoons of the radish and 2 of the broccoli. And really, 2 of the broccoli is kind of heavy. I probably could go a little bit lighter than that. I'm gonna give that a mist. Be nice if my hose wasn't leaking, creating that one giant stream, but it's okay. Nothing's moving around. That's working so well, I'm not gonna bother watering this one in either until I get my seeds on it. Spicy salad mix. Not really required if you're growing a whole bunch of different microgreens, because you can just mix them up. And I'm gonna mix this with other microgreens anyways. When I make my mix, I call it Chef's Blend, and I like to put in some spicy salad mix or even the basic salad mix. But then I mix in radish and I mix in maybe a little bit more broccoli, and I always put in some amaranth for that nice red color. It really makes the mix pop. But this mix has arugula, there's broccoli, there's kohlrabi, there's a mustard in here, There's a lot of different things in this mix from True Leaf Market. And we will do 2 tablespoons of this as well. Give this a little mist. I've had a lot of people ask me if I water my microgreens while they're stacked during germination, and I don't. And the reason why I don't is like you just saw. I water them so heavily when I'm planting them that I don't have to water them for at least a day after I've unstacked them. And you get really great germination that way as well.
These bugs are awful.
Quick. Rinsey, rinsey, rinsey. Let's get our next 2 underway. Again, 3 scoops from the cereal bowl. I've said this in several videos for several years. I should just get a scoop that's 1 scoop that does what this 3 scoops do. I don't know why I haven't done it. Like, it'd be one third of the work to just do it with 1 bigger scoop, but I don't know. Guess I kind of like that Tony the Tiger. I can't really get rid of them, but I'm going to. Has to happen. Next video, 1 scoop. I'm only showing you 1 tray of each in this video, but the way I would normally do this is I would do 3 trays or 2, and I'd have them all laid out like this, and every time I just put the other trays right on top, plant those ones, the other trays right on top, and plant those ones. Just continue through until I have all my trays planted and stacked. If you're a larger operation than me, this will probably all seem silly. You'll be like, well, I'm just gonna make 6 or 7 trays of pea all at once, but I don't need to do that. Right. We're gonna do arugula, slow bolt. This one is towards the top of the pile for a good reason. Arugula doesn't have to be stacked. It will do just fine. You can use it as a cap tray if you'd like. I like it to have a little bit of weight on it, but not a ton of weight. It's not something I'd want towards the bottom. And I think that you get less seed hulls if you stack it. But like I said, you don't need to stack it much. Arugula will germinate very quickly. So you won't have to wait very long, and it can be removed from the stack pretty early. We're gonna go with 1.5 tablespoons. I recently have been selling exclusively in retail since all the restaurants shut down. And at first I brought some arugula. It didn't sell. I had to replace those packages for free with something else. And then all of a sudden I'm getting asked for arugula. So I have to really step up my arugula game because apparently people really want it and I didn't realize that at the time. Maybe they didn't know they wanted it until they tried it and they realized arugula is actually one of the most flavorful microgreens you can get. I'm gonna water that all in pretty good. And water this tray because our next tray is amaranth, which is a very fine seed. I don't like to water it afterwards because it can puddle up and move around on you. So let's go around top of the mix. Red Garnet Amaranth. It's a great one. Does really well on cocoa core. I like to do just shy of a tablespoon. Almost tablespoon, but just maybe 9/10 of a tablespoon, 8/10 of a tablespoon. Arugula, not arugula, amaranth is very important that you really go even with the seed. If you have clumps, you will get dampen off issues. It has to be super even. And when you're watering it, you want to only water amaranth when the top of the soil is starting to get a little bit dry. You don't want to keep it too wet. It's a little bit of a tricky microgreen. I made a whole video a year or two ago on how to grow amaranth perfectly. And if you follow that method, it works probably 8 times out of 10. It's still not perfect, but it's a whole lot better than failing most of the time. Put that right here. And then this will be a cap tray. It will go right in the Microgreens Palace, and these will all germinate. I will update you in a couple days when I unstack these and just show you how they're going. I've got tons of content out there. I've already shown most of this, but I don't think I've clearly explained how I stack my trays and why I do that. With the amaranth on top like this, you don't need a block for weight. There's no need for it. If you're gonna be growing something that doesn't need to be weighted down, like basil or arugula or amaranth or several others, use that as your cap tray. There's no need for the block. Thanks for watching.